Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our session. I hope you're having a good time today at TDX. Today, with Rad, we are going to speak about how to boost your agent ROI with RAG. If you look close enough on the slide, you will see that on top of my French accent, I have another challenge, which is to avoid mixing up RAG and RAD. But if it happens, I'm sorry, and you know it's not personal, so sorry about that.
Thank you.
All right, so today we are going to present you what is RAG, why does it matter in an organization, how does it work. We'll do a little demo. We'll discuss about a couple of use cases and talk a little bit about the ROI. And if we have time, we'll go through some Q&A. If we don't have time, you can reach us after this session. You can come talk to us and we'll discuss. So you are lucky enough not to have a forward-looking statement. However, little disclaimer, we are Salesforce employees, but this presentation is not a corporate presentation. It's, let's say, the result of our own work, and it reflects our own personal point of view. I'm Christophe Boucher, architect at Salesforce for 10 years now, technical architect. I help our big customer putting together the platform and taking the most value out of the platform. I'm also a certified technical architect for 3 years now. I have a couple of passions in addition to Salesforce. I love cooking. We might come back to this a bit later, and golfing. And with that, to you, Rad.
Hello, my name is Rad Redkova. I write technical training for Salesforce. I've been with Salesforce for about 8 years now, and before that I was a developer, consultant within the ecosystem. My passion is not cooking, so if I ever have to fry an egg, I call Christophe. Please share your feedback. And we're going to have this QR code at the end of the session as well, but we'll be very happy to hear your opinion on the session. But let's get started with RAG. But before that, let's talk about AI and how businesses use AI at the moment. So the interaction happens actually with a large language model. And there are two ways that we can do that we can interact with the model. We can build our own model, which is resource intensive and expensive. And this is not what Salesforce usually recommends. And there's another way to use a public model. However, what is the challenge? What is the problem with the public model? The public models are trained on historical data. They know nothing about your business. They lack context. And how do we unlock the true value of these models? We do that by using RAG. RAG stands for retrieval-augmented generation. And what RAG does, it enhances the large language model by augmenting the query or the prompt of the user with context. That is, context from our business data, from structured or unstructured data. And when we generate a response with the model, the response would be context-aware, the response would be accurate, and you can use also real-time data. So why does it matter? When I was preparing this slide, I was thinking about a recent interaction I had with customer care. I bought a new phone, and I had a billing problem. The billing problem was kind of complicated because I live in one country, I traveled in another country. I wanted this to be resolved very quickly. I kept receiving those messages that my payment was declined. So I phoned the company. It took me like 30 minutes to explain the problem. It wasn't resolved. I did that again. Next time, I had a very similar issue. I had to start from scratch explaining the problem because they had no record of my interactions. And I did 3 times. I had to write messages, I had to make phone calls, and the problem wasn't resolved even. So this is where RAG really can make an impact, because it could actually take into account not only structured data about past orders, about where I live or what's my billing information, but also all the interactions that I've done with the company. And I don't have to explain over and over again to different people what my issue is. Here here, though, we focus on unstructured data. And now we're going to talk about how RAG actually works. So let's look at the core elements. So unstructured data is actually messages, emails, and notes that you have. Could be PDF files, could actually be audio and video files as well. And RAG starts with pre-processing, which Christophe will talk about a little later. Pre-processing starts with chunking, vectorizing, and indexing the data, and thus preparing our data to be searched. RAG is using powerful semantic tools called retrievers to search for the relevant information. And then this information augments the query, the prompt that the user has created. And then we have a response that is generated, which is accurate, which is context-aware, and which is business-ready. So let's go back to Paris, and let's see how Christophe is using RAG in his restaurant, Chez Boucher.
Thank you. Thank you, Red. Thank you for this presentation and introduction. So this is where we try to mix a little bit the passion of cooking and maybe the demo. So let's put in our shoes of, let's say, someone owning a restaurant. For some obvious reason, let's say we need an agent, but I want to make sure that whatever I ask the agent, all the information that the agent provides is grounded in my own recipes or in my own cooking methods or any cooking methods I could have, I would say, gathered in a cooking course and things like that. So the little demo I will show you, the purpose is mainly to show you how do we set up things to have RAG working. Yeah. So let's get started. Make that up. So first thing, we need to have Data Cloud enabled. Okay, this is what you see on the screen here. Once Data Cloud is enabled, the first thing you have to start with is to load your unstructured data. So this is done through the Agentforce data libraries. We load our data there. In the example on the screen, you will see that I loaded a couple of recipes, a couple of cooking methods. Once we upload the file through this way, Agentforce behind the scene will take care about a couple of stuff like creating the retrievers, Rad mentioned before, and another kind of things. What we have to do, however, is to create the search index. The search index is what will process the data that we have uploaded and will vectorize the data. We want to vectorize the data. I'll come back a little bit later about this because we will be doing some semantic search on the data. This is what we'll do the index. So once we load the file, we create the index, easy setup. It will take some time to compute, a couple of minutes for my example, a couple of hours if we have lots of files. We want to make sure that the status on the right-hand side is ready. Okay. Once this is done, we can now build our prompt of our agent. What I will show you right now is two approaches. First, we create a prompt, and then we reference the prompt in an agent. To create the prompt, I actually open a prompt that already exists. For those in the room who already created agents before, you know this graphical interface, right? We write the prompt template, the text. We already reference a couple of stuff in this text. If you read, you are a concierge staff at user.company name. This is a structured data. We reference a merge field already, okay? We also reference the input, the question that is asked by the user. And if you read below, we are referencing the retriever. This is where we tell the prompt that we want to point to the data I've been loading inside the Agentforce data libraries. The retriever will do the semantic search. Aside from this, on the right-hand side, you know these parameters already. We select which type of model we want, which model we want, etc. We can test the agent. If I test it here and I ask a question around, let's say, cooking temperatures for beef, etc., it will provide me quite a thorough answer below. This is a detailed answer that comes from the cooking methods document I've been uploading earlier. So now we want to make sure our agent is able to reference what we've done here. So to do it, first we have to create an agent action. The action will reference the prompt. So if I open the action that I created here, you will see that it has a reference to a prompt template on the top left-hand side, and a couple of parameters below. All right? Once we have created an agent action, we can then configure the agent. To configure this agent, we have created a dedicated topic for any question that will require to search in the unstructured data. And this topic has a configuration on the left-hand side with a scope and a couple of instructions, and it has also an action that is actually the action we created just before. And that's it. Once this is done, I can then interact with the agent and ask questions. So back to Salesforce interface, opening Agentforce here, ask, this is a question about cooking temperature. It could be a question around recipes, and it is extracted from the document we uploaded. All right. So let's go back full screen here. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of use cases and discuss about ROI. For some obvious reason, we have not done an exhaustive ROI study with real financial costs. All right, it can vary a lot, but we want to discuss about what you have to take into consideration for the ROI of such a project. In terms of cost, two categories: fixed cost, of course, we need licenses. For instance, the data cloud licenses, and we need to consider also the time and money that will be used to build the project, to deploy, run, and maintain it. We also have some consumption-based costs, because we will consume data cloud billing credits when we load, insert, update the files and the unstructured data, but also when we query it. Okay? Each time we query, each time we execute the prompt, the agent I showed you just before, it will consume some credit. On the benefit side, it's a bit more variety here. First, we enhance the value of our LLM model, because we don't have to retrain the model. We are enriching our prompts with accurate, relevant, and trusted information. We expand company data access also, because as of today, some study shows that more than 80% of company data is not structured. So by doing the RAG with Agentforce, we are able to access this data. We will, of course, automate a couple of tedious manual processes. We cut cost of model maintenance. We don't have to train the model and to maintain a model. We just have to, let's say, make sure our unstructured data is up to date and that we continue loading our file of our unstructured data. And actually, we could have an interesting use case where we load unstructured data, but we extract some of it to create structured data, and then to do other things with it. We can come back on that a little bit later. For the use cases, we have selected a couple of use cases from enhancing customer care efficiency, boosting operational efficiency, streamlining legal research, and optimizing recruitment process. In the 4 use cases that you have here on the screen, the first 3 are actually quite eligible to Agentforce implementation. Some of them, I saw them working actually at some customers. The last one is not particularly an Agentforce use case. It's more, let's say, an AI use case in general. Will we be able to do this one on Agentforce later? You'll understand, because there is a prioritization thing that for now we don't support. Yeah, but the first 3 can be Agentforce. First one, improving customer care. So in this use case, we are loading technical and billing information inside the system, product information, things like this. The value out of it is that we can deflect cases by avoiding agent involvement, especially if a customer is asking questions on data that is just in an invoice or in a technical specification sheet. Okay. We save time through automation. We improve accuracy of the answers, because a lot of data are in this document, so we don't need to have someone reading it and putting information bit by bit. And of course, eliminate the need to search elsewhere. Second use case, improving operational efficiency. This is a use case I've seen working at one of my customers. So in this one, we load meeting notes, minutes, transcripts in Data Cloud in order to render them accessible through an agent. So the value we get out of it is better knowledge management, because we all know, I think, we have lots of meetings again and again. A lot of things is said, but so much information is lost, either because for some people it was not the right moment to understand or hear them, or for various reasons. Once we process the data, and it can be actually transcript, it can be also audio files or video files, we improve accountability because we can know who said what. We prevent information loss. If we have architecture decision, things like that, we can extract this from the agent. Reduce the number of necessary meetings. And yeah, as an IT person, we think right away about loading like design authority minutes into Data Cloud to query it later and to, let's say, maintain the knowledge and not lose anything. The third use case is around facilitating legal research. So in this one, the idea was to say we can load in Data Cloud the penal code, civil code, state code, case law into Data Cloud, so that any query that would be, let's say, simple questions that would where the answer resides in one of these documents can be extracted. And I would say for a common citizen, it would prevent the need of having to pay a lawyer just for answering simple questions. Not sure the lawyer community would be too happy about it, but at least it could save also professionals some time, rather than working on simple questions, spend time on the complex cases. The last use case here is around optimizing recruitment process. So here the idea is to say, I am a recruitment company, I receive hundreds of applications, I will send to an AI the application, so application of a candidate on a job offer. The AI will qualify, score, prioritize it, extract 20% of the most meaningful application, discard 80%, send the 20% to a recruiter who will focus only on the 20% most meaningful application. This way, the recruiter can spend more time on talent engagement, strategy analysis, and more valuable tasks. This use case is really an interesting use case when we speak about AI as an assistant, because AI is not replacing the recruiter, it's really assisting the recruiter. Let me clean this up for you, just focus on the most meaningful. We wanted also to say a couple of words on the traditional search versus vector search. We mentioned this earlier when we spoke about indexes and retrievers. Today, we all know about traditional search, where I search something, I'm looking for the exact keyword matching, Boolean logic, okay? This is very good to find something precise. When we do Google, when we do global search in Salesforce, this is actually what happens. But it has difficulties with synonyms and meaning of things. It does not understand the meaning. I'm just looking for a precise character string. Vector search, on the opposite, vector search or semantic search, we convert the text into vectors, into a bunch of figures, let's say. And when we do the search, we don't look for an exact match, but we look for, let's say, a good similarity between vectors, which then allows us to have a much better flexibility when it comes to understand different meanings. And for instance, if I'm looking for car or bus, then I can find similar vehicles, let's say. So this one will be good for semantic search, but less good if I'm looking for some figures or precise figures or things like that. What happened into Data Cloud and in the indexes and retrievers is that we combine both searches. Okay, there is a traditional search that is made, a vector search that is made. We will combine the result And the result of this is what will serve the engine to extract the information and propose the information or not. All right, so to take it to the next level, if you have a cool Agentforce use case in mind you want to share, you can click and flash the QR code on the left. If you want a little more read stories about how to implement an agent for maximum impact, you can click on the right-hand side. You will have access to these documents. And yeah, feedback, coffee's on us. I think we showed this one already. You have access through the QR code, but also through the event app. Don't hesitate to provide feedback for us. And thank you. Please come see us after the session if you have questions.